In the distant reaches of the Andarian sector, a lonely signal traveled across the dark void. The Volari Dominion, a peaceful and intelligent race, sent out a desperate distress call. Their world was under attack by the Karth Dominion, a cruel species that enslaved all they conquered. Entire cities burned. Starships fell from the sky like falling stars. Their message was simple, almost pleading, "Please, anyone, help us." The signal was broadcast across all frequencies, reaching every corner of the galaxy. Many heard it, but most ignored it. The Galactic Union looked at it and shook their heads. No one wanted to face the wrath of the Karth on Earth. Commander Han Soo-jin of the United Earth Defense Command sat at her console in the orbital command station above Earth. She watched the distress signal flicker across her screen. The message was old and scratched, but the urgency in the words was clear. She knew that this call had traveled light years, through abandoned sectors and quiet space, finally reaching humanity. The words echoed in her mind. "They are burning our worlds. Please, anyone." Soo-jin knew immediately that this was a situation humanity could not ignore. She activated the secure line to Fleet Admiral Park Dae-hyun. "Admiral, you need to see this," she said, her voice calm but firm. Dae-hyun studied the signal in silence. The holographic projection showed the destroyed Volari cities, the burning atmosphere, and the broken starships of their fleet. The images were terrible, but what struck him was the message behind them. It was a call for help from a species that had no other hope. Dae-hyun had faced many battles, but he had never seen a plea that stirred him this deeply. He looked at Soo-jin and said simply, "Prepare the fleet. We are going to answer this call." Preparations began immediately. The United Earth Defense Command activated its largest mobilization since the Great Earth Space Expansion. The Aegis Armada, Earth's warfleet, stirred to life. Shipyards on Mars, Titan, and orbiting stations buzzed with energy. Thousands of vessels, including carriers, cruisers, destroyers, and dreadnoughts, prepared for the journey. Engineers, pilots, and crew moved like a well-rehearsed machine. Captain Lee Han-nul stood on the command deck of the battleship ISS Dauntless. She watched the massive engines power up, and the Earth emblem glowed on the hull. Her hands rested lightly on the railing as she whispered, "Let's show them what it means to ask for help from Earth." She had fought in smaller conflicts, but this was different. The distance, the stakes, and the unknown enemies made her heart race. Fleet Admiral Dae-hyun appeared on the main screen for the fleet's assembly. His voice was calm and steady, but it carried a weight that made every sailor pay attention. "We were once alone. We suffered. We rebuilt. We grew stronger than any force in this sector. Today, a species calls for help. We will answer, not with pity, but with strength. Remember this, we protect the helpless. We do not negotiate with tyranny. Let them see what Earth can do." The fleet moved into position, preparing for slipspace travel. The massive engines roared. Their hum felt even in the command deck. Crew members moved efficiently, checking systems and confirming weapon status. The human war fleet was more than technology. It was a symbol of unity and resolve. Millions across Earth watched as the sky filled with blue streaks of light, signaling the departure of humanity's finest forces. The Aegis Armada vanished into the stars, leaving behind awe and hope. Days passed in slipspace. The fleet moved silently through the void, every ship maintaining formation. Commander Han Soo-jin checked the tactical feeds constantly, watching for any signs of enemy activity. Captain Han-nul ran drills on the Dauntless, ensuring that the crew remained ready. Even in this quiet, the tension was palpable. Everyone knew that the Karth would not be taken by surprise, and that every second could be crucial. As the fleet approached the Marith system, the human ships began to drop out of slipspace. The Volari outpost was in ruins, orbiting their destroyed homeworld. Smoke and fire surrounded the planet. The survivors of the Volari fleet looked up at the sudden appearance of thousands of human ships. Their eyes widened. They had hoped for help, but never imagined that such power would come. Commander Soo-jin activated communications with the Volari leaders. "We received your call." "Earth has answered," she said. The Karth Dominion responded quickly. Their fleet of sleek, deadly vessels emerged from hyperspace, intent on finishing the destruction. But the humans were ready. Railguns fired, cutting through Karth ships with ease. Particle lances illuminated space as human drones swarmed like a living net, tearing apart enemy formations. In less than an hour, the first wave of Karth attackers was annihilated. General Realten, leader of the Volari, contacted the human flagship. His voice trembled with disbelief. We have never seen anything like this." "Who are you?" Commander Han Soo-jin replied simply, her expression calm but proud. "We are humanity. You called for help." Earth has answered. The Volari could hardly believe it. They had lived in fear of the Karth for generations, and now these humans had appeared, striking terror into their enemies and saving their civilization in a single sweep. The humans' efficiency, their calm precision, and the sheer scale of their power left even the Volari in awe. In the human fleet, Captain Hanul looked out from the command deck. The stars stretched endlessly before her. She could see the small fires on the planet below, and the remnants of the Karth ships floating in orbit. Her crew moved with precision, cleaning up the battlefield and rescuing survivors. There was no celebration yet. This was only the beginning. Admiral Dae-hyun stood beside her, watching the aftermath. "This is what happens when a species calls for help and humanity answers," he said. "We don't seek glory. We seek justice." Soo-jin nodded. The distress call had brought them across the galaxy. It had tested humanity's resolve. And now the human fleet stood as a beacon of hope for those who could not defend themselves, and a warning to those who would spread fear and destruction. The galaxy had received a new message. Earth would not ignore a call for help. And when it answered, no one would forget. The aftermath of the first battle left the Volari world in a quiet, fragile peace. Smoke still rose from the ruined cities, and the once vibrant planet now looked like a gray scar in space. The humans, however, had no time to rest. Admiral Park Dae-hyun called a fleet meeting aboard the ISS Dauntless, where commanders and captains gathered around the holographic map of the sector. Commander Han Soo-jin pointed to the display. "Sensors show that Karth forces are regrouping near the edge of the sector. They will attempt another strike, and this time they will be stronger." Captain Lee Hanul leaned forward. "We cannot allow them to rebuild. If we let them recover, these people will suffer again." Dae-hyun nodded. "Our mission is simple. Protect the Volari and eliminate the Karth threat in this sector. The Karth will learn that when humans arrive, they cannot escape." His words were steady, confident, and carried the weight of countless victories. The fleet spread out into defensive formations. Carriers launched swarms of drones to patrol the surrounding space. Scouts moved ahead, invisible to enemy sensors, gathering information. Battleships and cruisers positioned themselves strategically, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Meanwhile, the Volari survivors were slowly recovering. Children who had lost families clung to their parents, while elders gave silent thanks for the arrival of the humans. General Railton walked among them, his tall, thin frame looking smaller in the shadow of the massive human ships. He approached Commander Soo-jin as she oversaw the distribution of supplies from a human transport vessel. "Your people are remarkable," Railton said, his voice heavy with emotion. "We feared we were alone in this galaxy. We feared we would be destroyed. But then you came." Soo-jin smiled faintly. "We came because you called for help. That is all we needed to act. Your lives matter, and tyranny should never go unchallenged." Railton bowed slightly. "I do not know how to repay you." "You do not need to repay us," Soo-jin replied. "You only need to survive. That is reward enough." The human fleet moved silently through the sector, preparing for any sign of the Karth. The enemy had not forgotten, and the humans knew it. Every second counted, and every action had to be precise. As the days passed, scouts reported that the Karth were gathering at a nearby star cluster. Thousands of ships, heavily armed, were preparing for a counterattack. Admiral Dae-hyun called another meeting. "The Karth believe we are only here to rescue the Volari. They do not understand our resolve. We will strike their fleet before they reach us. If we wait, they will grow stronger. Our window is small, but our advantage is greater. Prepare for engagement." The fleet moved into a hidden jump point near the star cluster. The humans were patient, disciplined, and calm. They had trained for this moment, and they knew that victory depended on preparation and precision. Captain Hanul stood on the Dauntless bridge, her hands steady on the console. "All systems are ready. Drones are in position. Weapons are primed. We wait for your command, Admiral." Dae-hyun activated the fleet-wide communication system. "This is Earth. Today we strike for justice. Remember, we fight not for glory, but to protect the innocent. Our enemies will see the cost of their cruelty. We move in 5 minutes." The silence that followed was intense. Every crew member prepared themselves. The hum of engines, The blinking lights of consoles and the quiet movements of officers filled the room. Then Daehyun gave the signal. The fleet jumped out of the hidden point and appeared directly in the Karth's path. The Karth were caught off guard. Their formation was tight but unprepared for the sheer scale and coordination of the human fleet. The first salvo from human railguns tore through their front lines. Particle lances cut paths through their ships and drones swarmed like predators, dismantling smaller vessels in seconds. Commander Soo-jin watched the battle unfold on the tactical display. She directed the positioning of the human ships with calm precision. Every movement was calculated, every strike deliberate. Target their carriers first, she instructed. Destroy their command ships and the rest will scatter. Captain Hanyul shouted orders to the crew of the Dauntless. Focus all fire on the Karth command vessel. Deploy drones to intercept escape pods. Maintain formation. The crew responded instantly, their training evident in every action. As the battle continued, the Valari survivors watched from their rebuilt stations. The humans fought not with anger but with purpose. Every strike was meant to protect, every move precise and efficient. Within hours, the Karth fleet was in ruins, their ships either destroyed or fleeing in disarray. The humans had struck quickly and decisively. After the battle, the human fleet regrouped near the Valari world. Casualties among humans were minimal, and the Karth threat had been neutralized, at least for now. Admiral Daehyun addressed the crew. We have shown them that cruelty has consequences. But we must remain vigilant. The galaxy is vast and tyranny does not rest. Commander Soo-jin moved among the crew, checking on the injured and ensuring that all systems were functioning properly. Captain Hanyul inspected the Dauntless, satisfied that their ship and crew had performed perfectly. We did what needed to be done, she said. The Valari are safe. That is all that matters. General Rilton approached again, his eyes filled with gratitude. I cannot believe the speed and power of your fleet. My people will remember this day forever. Soo-jin nodded. Remember this, help can come from unexpected places. Today we acted because it was right. Tomorrow we will continue to protect those who cannot defend themselves. The Valari slowly began to rebuild their stations, their spirits lifted by the presence of the humans. The human fleet remained nearby, a silent guardian. The galaxy had witnessed something remarkable. Humanity, united and powerful, had answered a call for help without hesitation, without fear. Their presence alone reminded the Valari and other species that they were not alone, and that tyranny could be challenged. As the stars shimmered in the distance, Admiral Daehyun looked at the fleet and said quietly, We will always answer the call. This is only the beginning. Humanity has returned to the stars, and when we act, the galaxy will take notice. The galaxy began to take notice of humanity's power. Word of the Aegis Armada's arrival in the Andarian sector spread quickly. Across distant star systems, the whispers of Earth's fleet grew into fear and respect. In the Valari territories, citizens and survivors of the Karth attack marveled at the humans. They had never seen such massive ships move with perfect coordination, nor had they witnessed such precise, unstoppable firepower. Commander Han Soo-jin oversaw the reconstruction of the Valari outpost. Though humans had arrived in force to stop the Karth, many smaller communities still needed aid. Supplies, medical teams, and engineers moved across the surface of Marith and nearby colonies. The Valari worked alongside the humans, astonished by their efficiency. Where there had been despair, now hope grew. Meanwhile, in the void of space, Karth remnants fled in small groups. Some tried to hide in asteroid fields, while others attempted to warp to distant sectors. But human scouts, stealthy and fast, hunted them relentlessly. Every ship, every crew member knew that the Karth would regroup if allowed, and humanity could not let innocent worlds suffer again. Captain Lee Hanyul's ISS Dauntless led one of the scout groups. Hanyul was known for her calm precision in combat, and now she directed her team in tracking Karth survivors. Every movement was careful, calculated. They struck only when necessary, aiming to disable and capture rather than destroy whenever possible. Some Karth ships surrendered, surprised that humans showed control rather than blind rage. Admiral Park Dae-hyun held regular communications with the crew and the Valari leaders. We are not conquerors, he explained during one briefing. We are here to protect. But protection comes with responsibility. We must act decisively so that no innocent lives are lost. This is the role of humanity in the galaxy now. The Valari began to trust the humans. They shared knowledge of hidden Karth bases, secret hyperspace routes, and intelligence that had been collected for years. With this information, humans could anticipate the Karth's movements. Commander Sujin coordinated with the Valari leaders, planning operations to intercept enemy ships before they could regroup or attack other worlds. In the heart of the Andarian sector, the Karth were not idle. General Krath, their fleet commander, was furious. He had never faced an opponent like the humans. Every strategy he tried failed. Entire squadrons were destroyed in minutes. He gathered his officers and raged. "The humans are unlike any enemy we have faced. They strike with precision, coordination, and power. We will not survive unless we outsmart them." Krath's officers shook with fear. Even among the Karth, rumors of the humans' abilities had spread. Their enemies were not only fast and powerful, but organized beyond anything the Karth had known. Every attack was anticipated, every trap avoided. Krath knew that the humans were not just a threat. They were a force the galaxy had never seen before. Human forces moved closer to the Karth stronghold. The Valari provided intelligence, guiding fleets around patrols and hidden sensors. The Aegis Armada struck silently and swiftly. In a single sweep, Karth outposts fell. Railguns tore through hulls. Drones dismantled weapons arrays, and human ships coordinated like a single organism. Every strike was calculated. Every enemy response anticipated. The Karth could not fight back effectively, and soon their forces began to collapse. During one of these operations, Captain Hanuel received a distress call from a Karth transport attempting to flee with prisoners. Many of the prisoners were Valari, captured during the initial attacks. Hanuel ordered her ship to intercept. With careful maneuvers, the human ship approached the transport, deploying boarding drones to neutralize threats. The Karth crew surrendered quickly, surprised that the humans did not destroy the vessel outright. Commander Sujin watched as the operation succeeded. Prisoners were freed, treated, and returned to Valari care. "This is why we fight," she said softly. "Not for glory, but to protect those who cannot defend themselves." Meanwhile, news of humanity's actions spread beyond the Valari sector. Other species of the Galactic Union began to take notice. Some were inspired, hoping that humans might offer protection. Others were wary, realizing that a new force had arrived in the galaxy. One message repeated across channels: when Earth answers a call for help, the response is absolute. The human fleet did not rest. Even after victory in the Andarian sector, Admiral Dae-hyun ordered continued patrols. Every Karth ship detected was dealt with swiftly. Each human vessel moved with calm discipline, leaving no room for panic or error. On the Valari homeworld, citizens slowly returned to their routines. Children played in open fields, their laughter returning after months of fear. Families rebuilt homes and markets reopened under the protection of the humans. General Rielton walked among them, gratitude in every word he spoke. "Your people are not only powerful," he said to Sujin, "they are wise and just." "We owe our lives to you," Sujin replied with humility. "We do not seek thanks. We act because it is right. Today you live, and tomorrow we will continue to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is all we ask." As night fell over the Valari world, the stars above seemed to shine brighter. The human's presence was a symbol, not only of strength but of hope. Across the galaxy, others began to hear whispers of Earth's power. Tyrants would think twice, and the innocent could dare to dream again. Humanity had returned to the stars, and they were not there for conquest. They were there to answer the call, to act when no one else would, and to remind the galaxy that when humans move, they move with unstoppable purpose. Admiral Dae-hyun watched the stars from the bridge of the Dauntless. His voice was quiet but firm as he spoke to Sujin and Hanuel beside him. "We have shown what humanity can do. We do not seek war, but we will not shy from it. Today we protect. Tomorrow we continue. The galaxy will remember this." Commander Sujin nodded, her gaze steady. "We fight for those who cannot fight. That is the essence of our duty. Let them know that when Earth answers, the call is never ignored." Captain Hanuel smiled slightly, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride. The human fleet remained vigilant, a silent, unstoppable presence in the Andarian sector. The Karth had learned a lesson, the Valari had gained hope, and the galaxy had seen that humanity's return was not for conquest, but for justice, protection, and the promise that no call for help would ever go unanswered. The success of the human fleet in the Andarian sector sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Karth, once feared as unstoppable conquerors, were now retreating in disarray. Yet they would not accept defeat quietly. In a distant system, General Krath convened the largest Karth fleet ever assembled. Thousands of ships bristling with weapons gathered, their black hulls reflecting the dim light of distant stars. Every officer present knew that if they lost this battle, the Karth Dominion would lose its grip over several sectors forever. Meanwhile, the humans continued to secure the Valari territories. Commander Han Soo-jin coordinated patrols and supply routes, ensuring the survivors had what they needed to rebuild their society. The Valari had begun constructing new defensive stations with human guidance, their engineers inspired by the precision and efficiency of Earth's methods. Yet the human leaders knew that the real test was not past victories, but the coming storm. Admiral Park Dae-hyun studied the Karth fleet's movements. Sensors showed the massive assembly moving toward liberated Valari systems. "They believe they can overwhelm us," he said to Captain Lee Hanul. "But they are mistaken. Every move they make is already anticipated. Prepare the fleet. This will be their final test." The Aegis Armada positioned itself near the Lysara Nebula, using the dense stellar clouds as cover. Battleships, carriers, and cruisers formed a tight formation, while smaller vessels scouted the surrounding sectors. Drones patrolled invisibly, feeding constant information back to human command. Every crew member knew the stakes. If the Karth succeeded, countless worlds could fall into their hands. Captain Hanul walked along the bridge of the ISS Dauntless, checking systems and giving instructions. Her calm demeanor reassured the crew. "Maintain formation and wait for my command," she instructed. "We strike with precision. We strike with purpose, and we strike once." The crew nodded, understanding the discipline and coordination required to face such a massive enemy force. As the Karth fleet entered the sector, the humans remained hidden. The Karth commanders, confident in their numbers, prepared their attack formations. Thousands of ships moved in a pattern designed to overwhelm any defense. General Krath monitored every signal, unaware of the human fleet lying in ambush. At the precise moment, Admiral Dae-hyun gave the command. "Engage." In an instant, the Aegis Armada emerged from the nebula. Thousands of human ships appeared like a wall of light and fire. Karth sensors failed to detect the sudden presence until it was too late. Railguns fired, cutting through enemy ships with devastating accuracy. Particle lances carved paths through the Karth fleet. Drones swarmed, neutralizing weapon systems and communications nodes. Chaos erupted among the Karth, their formations breaking apart in minutes. Commander Soo-jin directed the deployment of boarding units to capture Karth vessels attempting to flee. Valari survivors watched in awe as humans demonstrated not only overwhelming power, but precise control. Ships were disabled rather than destroyed when possible. Prisoners rescued and enemy forces neutralized efficiently. Captain Hanul's ISS Dauntless led the central assault. She coordinated with Admiral Dae-hyun, executing maneuvers designed to cut off Karth escape routes. Explosions illuminated the void, and the hum of weapons filled the space around them. The Karth fought fiercely, but every move they made was anticipated. The human fleet struck like a single living organism, moving with purpose and unstoppable force. In the midst of the battle, General Krath realized the true extent of human strategy. "They are not just powerful," he muttered. "They anticipate every move. They are not like any enemy we have faced before." His fleet continued to fall apart. Panic spread through Karth command as vessels attempted to flee or regroup, only to be intercepted by the relentless humans. The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. When it ended, not a single Karth ship remained in the sector. The survivors were taken prisoner or neutralized. The human fleet, though victorious, remained vigilant. Every vessel scanned for hidden threats, every crew member aware that vigilance was key to maintaining control. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Captain Hanul watched the last enemy signals fade. "It is over," she said quietly, though the crew remained ready for any further developments. Commander Soo-jin joined her, nodding at the calm efficiency of their victory. "We have shown them that tyranny will not go unchallenged." Admiral Dae-hyun addressed the entire fleet through the comm system. "Today we have delivered a clear message. Humanity does not seek war, But when injustice threatens the innocent, we respond with strength and precision. Let this be known across the galaxy. Those who attack the helpless will face consequences. We will be there. We will answer the call. The Valari leaders, General Rilton among them, communicated their gratitude. Your people have saved us twice. We are forever in your debt. The galaxy will remember Earth. Your name will carry hope and caution alike. Su Jin stood on the observation deck of the Dauntless, looking at the stars. The Karth threat had been neutralized, but the galaxy was vast. Many more worlds could still suffer. We do not fight for conquest, she said softly. We fight because no one else will. Admiral Dae-hyun stood beside her, watching the stars. And now the galaxy knows. When Earth answers a call, we do not falter. We do not retreat, we act. The universe will remember that. The fleet remained in the sector, securing the Valari systems and ensuring no other threats emerged. Every human ship was a guardian, a reminder of strength and justice. Across the stars, news of their actions spread rapidly. Other civilizations began to understand that humanity had returned to the galaxy, not for war, but for protection, for justice, and for the promise that calls for help would never be ignored again. The Aegis Armada had become more than a fleet. It had become a symbol. Humanity's power, discipline, and willingness to act where others would not mark the beginning of a new era. A message was clear. Tyranny would not go unanswered, and the humans were now the galaxy's force of reckoning. After the decisive victory over the Karth fleet, the humans remained in the Valari sector to secure peace. Commander Han Soo-jin coordinated the rebuilding of stations, transport routes, and supply networks. Every human ship was assigned tasks not only for defense but for support. Engineers, medical teams, and communication specialists worked alongside the Valari, teaching them Earth methods for faster reconstruction. Children once terrified of war now played in open fields as their parents repaired homes. Markets reopened, and hope returned to a world that had almost been lost. Admiral Park Dae-hyun addressed his fleet over secure communications. The mission is complete, but vigilance is our duty. The galaxy is vast, and tyranny hides in unexpected places. We act not for glory, but for justice. Our presence will remind the innocent that help exists, and the cruel that consequences are real. The human crews listened, inspired by the calm authority and purpose in his voice. Across the sector, word of humanity's actions spread quickly. Galaxies far beyond Andarian began receiving reports. Humans had arrived, answered a call for help, and destroyed an enemy fleet that was thought unbeatable. Some species were awed, some fearful, and some hopeful. Messages poured in from distant sectors requesting aid, guidance, and collaboration. Earth had returned to the galaxy with a reputation for fairness, power, and unwavering resolve. Commander Su Jin and Captain Lee Hanul walked along the observation deck of the ISS Dauntless, looking out at the Valari system. The small world below was alive with activity. For the first time in years, the Valari could look at the stars and feel safe. We did more than fight, Su Jin said quietly. We gave them hope, and hope is stronger than fear. Hanul nodded. Yes, and we have shown the galaxy what humanity can do. It is not just weapons, but resolve and unity that make us powerful. The Valari leadership, including General Rilton, formally thanked the humans. Your people are unlike any we have known, he said. You arrived without seeking reward, without asking for tribute. You simply acted because it was right. The galaxy must understand the value of such strength and wisdom. Su Jin responded, It is not about value or power. It is about choice. We choose to act when others will not. That is the essence of humanity. Meanwhile, the remnants of the Karth Dominion had retreated far beyond the sector. They carried with them the knowledge that the humans were no ordinary adversary. General Krath, humiliated and defeated, communicated with other Karth systems. We underestimated Earth. They are precise, organized, and unstoppable when they choose to act. We cannot challenge them directly. We must rethink everything. Fear and caution replaced arrogance within the Karth ranks, and the tales of humanity's power spread through every corner of their empire. Back on the Dauntless, the human fleet remained stationed near the Valari systems. Patrols scanned nearby sectors for any signs of enemy resurgence. Every crew member understood the importance of this presence. They were not occupying forces. They were guardians. Humans had returned to the stars, and they intended to ensure that the innocent could live without fear. that calls for help would never go unanswered again. Admiral Dae-hyun addressed the fleet one final time before departure. We leave a reminder of strength, order, and protection. The galaxy must know that humanity answers calls for justice, and those who act cruelly will meet consequences. We do not seek war, but we do not shy from it. Let all know, Earth will act. Commander Soo-jin reviewed the sector before departing. Every Valari station had functional defenses. Every planet had supplies, and every survivor had hope. She sent one last communication to General Rilton. You are safe. We will always respond when the helpless call for aid. The galaxy now knows what Earth can do, and it is a force that will never ignore injustice. As the Aegis Armada jumped into slipspace, the Valari looked up at the stars, a sense of awe in their hearts. Humans had come, answered the call, and left an example that would be remembered for generations. Across the galaxy, stories of the Aegis Armada's actions spread quickly, inspiring hope and caution in equal measure. The presence of humanity had shifted the balance of fear, hope, and power. The stars seemed brighter, the future seemed safer, and the voice of justice had a new champion. Earth, Commander Soo-jin, standing with Captain Hanul, watched the stars stretch as they left the Andorian sector. We did what we had to do, she said. Not for glory, but because it was right. Hanul smiled, her eyes reflecting the endless stars. And the galaxy will remember. When Earth answers a call, the universe listens. Admiral Dae-hyun looked at the bridge crew with pride. Let this be the beginning. Humanity has returned to the stars not as conquerors, but as protectors. We have sent a message that will echo across the galaxies. Help the helpless, challenge the cruel, and stand united. The Aegis Armada will always answer the call. As the ship sped through space, the galaxy slowly understood a new truth. Humans were no longer confined to Earth. They were a force to be reckoned with, a symbol of hope and strength, and an unshakable presence for those in need. The story of the Andarian sector would be told for generations, not as a tale of war alone, but as the moment humanity proved that when a call for help reaches their ears, Earth answers, and the galaxy listens.